I want to dive into the pain of change versus the pain of regret. And some of our favorite influencers have referenced this as the pain of change versus the pain of staying the same, right? And this is something that I see on consultations all the time, where people are like, "Hey James, I've got this goal, right? And it's, I don't know, 10 to 20 pounds down, right? Get in a swimsuit, right? Maybe it's, have my partner touch me, confidence in bedroom." Okay, let's use this as an example. So a lot of times people will come in with goals that are a combination of these things, one of these things, or something in the realm of this, right? And this could literally be men or women, right? It doesn't really matter. Oftentimes, women are afraid to, or are reinforced that they got to be a certain size to be in a swimsuit, which I think is blasphemy. I mean, be in a swimsuit, be in a two-piece if you want to, but a lot of culture will say that, hey, a woman is only beautiful looking like this. I think that someone that's tracking towards being in a more positive health spot is what you should be doing. You should not feel necessarily pressure to not wear a swimsuit unless you're the ideal, body type for society, because that's always changing, right? Freckles used to not be a thing. Now people are getting them tattooed on. Eyebrows, eyebrows used to be super thin, was in then, and now it's, hey, microblading's in, and big thick eyebrows. And the same kind of thing with noses, with injections, with Botox, etc. Like, stuff is always changing. It's an ever-moving goalpost. And so I think that you should absolutely be confident. Like, I want to be very clear. I think that you should be allowed to wear and do what you want to do. And I think that you shouldn't be pressured by society to conform to a certain type of way. What we're talking about here is medical preventive care, right? So prevention, right? Prevention is what I'm talking about, and being intentional about putting ourselves in the best position to succeed, both mentally and physically. And that looks like a healthy balance, right? And people will talk about balance differently and talk about what is healthy, what's not healthy, far differently than many other people will do. I'm not here to tell you like, hey, this is healthy and this is not healthy. It's really more of a sliding scale, right? Like, how healthy is the decision that we're making? How healthy is the overall aggregate of the decisions that we're making? Where is it on the scale? Is it more like, this could be better, or is it, more on the side of, hey, we're doing really well? But nonetheless, talking about the pain of staying the same versus the pain of change. People will come to me with these goals, right? And they want to lose 10 to 20 pounds, right? They think they can do it tomorrow. And maybe with Ozempic, you can do it in a month, but I wouldn't recommend that you do that, because that doesn't come with behavior change. And then that puts us in a position where it's very easy to jump in and gain all of it back, right? And be in a position where you are worse than what you started. Now, with lifestyle intervention, there's ways to combat that and do it in conjunction with other things. And I am not shaming Ozempic, semaglutide, Wegovy, metformin. I'm not shaming any of that for medical or otherwise. I am saying that lifestyle change, right, is what's needed in the long run for this to be sustainable, regardless of what you do. Whether it's keto, IF, CrossFit, Orange Theory, you work with a dietitian, you get on metformin, you get on something, like, regardless of what you do, you need to have a lifestyle change for this to be a long-term beneficial change for you. So people come in with these goals, right, and they're like, hey, I got here because I drank daily, right? I get 2,000 to 3,000 steps every few days. Haven't worked out in 6 years. Or I have a seafood diet. Okay, so these are pretty typical things that are said to me. And when I say seafood, S-E-E, not S-E-A, seafood, I eat food, right? A lot of times we have a problem with our consumption, okay? And a problem not identified as, hey, you should only consume X amount to be X size. No ma'am, no sir, that's not what I'm saying. What I am saying is that we just have an insatiable need to eat whatever, whenever, and in whatever quantity. That's not beneficial to your health in the long run. I'm not saying you got to be, a large or an XL, you got to be a medium, or you got to be a 0, a 2, a 4, a 6, a 8, a 10. Now, I'm not saying that at all. I am saying that if you have a goal and you truly mean it, right, you only have really two ways that we can go. You can either be cool with the pain that's going to come with you staying the same, right? And that could propel you. That either doesn't, it's not painful enough to propel you into action, or the pain of your current situation will force you to be willing to go through the pain of change. Because these two people, right? Someone that's drinking alcohol daily, drinking tons of soda, right? Not getting that many steps, pretty sedentary, sitting down, hasn't worked out in years or months, or maybe none of that is the case. They walk a little bit, they work out multiple times a week, but they just have a seafood diet. So they eat whatever in whatever quantities. They eat whatever, whenever, in whatever quantities that they want, and they don't know why they can't lose 10 to 20 pounds. At the end of the day, right, either you have an ideal, right, you have a look, you have an aesthetic, you have a feeling, right, that you're trying to get to, and it's worth making all the changes to do that, or you don't. And all of this, while it looks like physical manifestations of the goal, right? 10 to 20 pounds down, getting into a swimsuit and feeling XYZ, a lot of this just comes back to the mental. What's between your ears? What is something that you're willing to do, and what are you not willing to do? Because at the end of the day, the only thing that stands between you and getting to the goal that you have, that you would tell me that you have, not that I tell you that you should have, but that you have, comes back down to the daily actions, the daily deposits. I mean, we're talking about daily things, right? Okay? We're talking about daily. I'm not talking about coming in and having to flip upside down, never eat out, never go to a restaurant, never touch dessert, never do out. Like, I'm not talking about restriction in everything forever. But what are the daily actions, right? Are we in a position where we're tired of putting on clothes and them not fitting, right? Because you could always go buy more clothes, but would you rather buy more clothes, or would you rather figure this out so that the clothes that you've bought over the years are things that can fit, right? Or that you know that your size is not going to change for the negative, right? You're not going to continue to put on weight and then have to continue to buy clothes to keep up with the weight gain, right? Is it more painful to be in a spot where you're uncomfortable with being in pictures, with putting on certain clothes, with being around people, with being pictures and videos and media taken of you candidly? Is that more painful to see yourself right now like that? Or is it more painful to get up and move that ass? Like, I can't tell you what your goal should be, and I can't tell you how much weight you should lose, or this, that, or the other. I am not a physician. I'm not going to sit here and tell you, oh, because your BMI is here and you're da-da-da, we did this. No, at the end of the day, I'm here to help you, right, if you want to improve, and I can give you recommendations on how long it would take and what we need to change to get to the goal that you have. But I'm not going to tell you that you shouldn't be 250 at 5'5". Your doctor probably will tell you that, right? Your doctor will probably tell you at 5'9", you don't need to be 220 pounds. There's very few exceptions there. I mean, at 5'1", you probably don't need to be 320. You probably don't, at 5'1", need to be 175 either, right? Like, there's measures and metrics that we can look at that can communicate that there's a higher likelihood that there's comorbidities and a lot of problems down the pipe for your health if you're not preventative. But really, it comes down to the mindset. Like, would you rather deal with this on the back end, right, and have to deal with immobility and have to deal with clothes not fitting, have to deal with being more sedentary for the rest of your life because you can't change it at that point, right? So then you're just a matter of circumstance down the road. Or would you rather, come in and actually hammer it, get in with a coach or get in on some content or buy someone's program? Like, it doesn't cost a lot of money to do what you need to do to lose this kind of weight, to hit these goals. What it comes back down to is fixing the relationship with these things between the ears, right? And then number two is just your daily deposits. Your daily deposits into the bank of health, right? And what your daily withdrawals look like. Things like soda, like regular soda, lack of sleep, right? Things like alcohol, things like fried foods, things like that, they withdraw from your bank account, right? Things like sleeping amply, right? Put deposits into your bank account. Things like stretching, put deposits into your bank account. Things like moving to full range of motion, for whatever that means for you, put deposits into your bank account. Things like walking, right? More overall increased activity, deposits into your bank account. Whole foods, deposits into your bank account, right? Outside of contraindications from any pre-existing medical history that you have, like that's out of the depth of this video. But, you know, you being intentional about doing the things that you need to do to put in the daily deposits, not the withdrawals, to move you towards your goal is what this is going to come down to, okay? Absolutely. You either are like too frustrated with what's happening here today and you're willing to do it, or, you know, you're not willing to change. And you get to choose. It's your life. It's your meat sack, right? Like, I don't know what's after this life. I don't know where we go. I don't know if there's another plane, or religion's got it right, or atheists have it right, or agnostics have it right. I have no, or any one religion has it right. I don't know. That's not the point of this video, but the point is that you get to decide whether you want to stay the same or you don't. And I know that there's financial burden that can come into this. There's, you know, Maslow's hierarchy of needs. Like, do I have a roof over my head? Do I have love? Do I have all these other things? Like, all of that is true. And I'm not interested in pushing any of that down, but I am interested in communicating that all of that can still be true, and you can still take actions to the best of your ability to improve. Maybe it doesn't mean that you can get, maybe it means because of your situation financially and otherwise that you can't be getting multiple massages a month or even a massage a month. Okay, right? Okay, but you can buy a $2 lacrosse ball, right? Or a $2 golf ball and roll yourself out. You can buy a $5 foam roller and roll yourself out. Like, there are no excuses to do it, right? The awareness and the education is out there. Right? It's about picking the goal, the aim of that you're going to try to hit, and then being not satisfied until you have more information, not satisfied until you've learned more, not satisfied until you figure out what works for you. I can't tell you what works for you. I can tell you, if you come into our world, what might work better for you than what you're doing right now, because we've seen it to work with tons of people that are probably like you. But, you know, you've got to hit a point where enough is enough. But no coach can give that to you. Your mom can't give that to you. Your family can't give that to you. And I hope for your own sake that it doesn't come down to a medical diagnosis, right, from a doctor to get your ass moving. Because that is now not a preventative space. That's a reactive space. And I hope for your sake, for your benefit, that you don't wait for some massive thing to come up, for cancer to hit you, for you to start changing your lifestyle, right? Or, you know, for something else to happen, that then you change your lifestyle reactively, right? Is that better than never changing at all? You bet your ass it is. But I would rather you be preventative, because we're talking about small deposits. I'm talking about 5 to 20 minutes a day, max, across the whole day. We did a time study video, right? I talked about what all that looks like. You can go watch that. That goes through even the busiest of busies. Postpartum moms with a full-time job can still get it in. Now, you have to be intentional about planning. Yes, you do. But it can be done. Believe me. There's people that have far less time than me, far less means than me, far more to go to their goal, that have done it faster than I have. Right? My journey has kind of been a slow one. Why? Because I haven't really felt urgency to get it done, because I have a lot of things that I already want, you know? Like, I have a, you know, I would say in some regards, a mid physique, right? Like, it's not crazy. I'm not Rich Froning. I'm not C-bomb. I'm not what have you, but like, I walk around. I don't have a problem with attention. I don't have a problem with the way I fit in clothes. I mean, yeah, I'd like to be a little bit leaner and a little bit bigger, but like, for what? Just to be more taken seriously as a fitness professional? Okay. It's not worth the mental health for me to go aggressively past where I'm at, outside of just daily deposits, showing up and working on weaknesses, hitting my calves first at the beginning of the workout, making sure that I hit my steps, right? Making sure that I eat more whole foods, making sure that I'm intentional about choices when I have an option, right? Sometimes you don't have an option. That's okay. You shouldn't shame yourself, but sometimes applying a negative frame to something that you're doing that's commonplace for you isn't a bad idea, okay? Drinking 5 sodas a day and having fried food for every meal, it's probably okay to label that negative. Now, if it's the only food that exists on the earth and there's no other way or access to get anything else, okay, I hear you. But I don't know that anyone that's watching this video could say that. Anyone that has access to YouTube that watches this content, I don't believe is in the space where they would say that. So, I mean, is there obvious exceptions out there? For sure. Is there people that fall on hard times? For sure. Am I trying to take anything away from that? Absolutely not. But I am also saying that, like, we don't need to overcomplicate it, right? You either want the goal enough to go through the pain to change it, or you don't. And if you don't, that's okay. That's voluntary. That's on you. It's not on me. It's not on any coach. It's not on your doctor. All we can do is offer recommendations. All we can do is show you the way or be willing to coach you hand in hand to the finish line for whatever that means for you. And so I hope that this helps, because a lot of this, I think we overcomplicate it. Oh, I can't get healthy without a coach. Well, that's bullshit. You can, right? There's tons of people that do it all the time. You don't need a coach. You might want a coach, right? You might be in a position where a coach would help you get rolling or help you get there faster. But you can't rest on laurels and say, well, because I can't see a chiropractor, my spine's never going to be solid. Really? Because I can't pay for a registered dietitian with a PhD, I'm never going to be able to learn nutrition. Really? Because I can't pay a personal trainer to help me move in the gym, I'm never going to do any movement. It's an all or nothing, perfectionistic frame. And I would strongly encourage you to drop that, because it's not serving you. It's a victim mentality, and I don't want anyone to be there, right? The pain of change or the pain of staying the same will win. One of the two, right? You get to choose. You get to choose where on the scale do you lie, right? Not on the physical scale, but on the scale between the two, on the continuum there. You get to decide where you are on that continuum, and we can rock and roll from there. Hope this is helpful. I hope you have a great rest of your day. Peace.